get going. It's BB's risk management class, so we want to make sure that we don't go over our time. Do we have some bucket fills today?
Sorry. I was on Gary's budget. He was helping me on a potential estate sale, and he has always been very helpful, and thank you. Gary is awesome.
Yeah. If you guys want to also get to know somebody's very cool and interesting life, talk to Gary. He's done it all. He's very cool to talk to. I do want to take the time to welcome our new agents. I think we have a few that attended. Oh, we have a slide for that. Okay. We'll wait for the slide. Hold on. Any bucket fills then? No?
I have one.
Okay.
For Broker Bob, I've been taking his in his class, his coaching class, and he's just been very encouraging lately. And like, I'm having a hard time getting business, so he's been very encouraging and helpful. I keep making his life.
She's the one I'm nice to.
Anyone else? No? Okay, let's get going. Welcome to the Market Center. This is Kim Conway. She wasn't here for the orientation, though. We have more agents here. Christina, is she here?
Yes.
Christina's here?
Christina works on the commercial side.
Yeah, commercial. And then Maria, she'll probably be at the next orientation. Monica was here. Monica, go back. And Mark Miller, he's not new. So Monica and Christina, this is your first time. Mark Miller is hosting a weekly call, and you can go on Zoom with him and ask him any questions regarding contracts and stuff too. His calls are Mondays on Zoom for 30 minutes. The rest of you already know, so I was repping for them. We're gonna have a mini potluck style, so bring an appetizer for our August meeting. That's next week. So I'm gonna let Corinne speak on that one. Corinne, do you mind?
Yeah, no, that's great. So next Wednesday, we will be having an in-person meeting instead of a Zoom. First half is going to be, we're going to have Lennar come in and talk about new builds, so you definitely don't want to miss that. And then we're going to have, the next half is going to be agent panel of 4 agents who are getting business right now and what they're doing to do so. So please don't miss it, and bring in a small appetizer to share.
I think it's a great opportunity to listen from that panel to other agents here, right?
Yes,
You're gonna get to hear a lot of that. And those are very successful opportunities for meetings too. Okay, next. Bowl is again, step 1 is already next week. If you haven't signed up, sign up. And then most of you should already know we have a raffle going on for people who sign up for step 1 and for agents who sign up for the full session. Okay. Jacqueline?
Oh, this is okay. I'm good. Just to go back for a second, is there anybody in the room that doesn't know like what Bold is, what step 1 is? Only because I was afraid to like raise my hand and ask when that first
I'll
came
raise my
up.
hand.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate someone asking. Step 1 is free. So it's 9 to 2, right? The first step. It's basically a free day of really high level coaching and training. I don't know why everyone wouldn't be there when you get it for free. That's all. I didn't understand that when I first started, and then I went and I was like, oh, I don't have to pay for the first class. I just get the learning. That's actually really awesome. So I'm just saying that because I was surprised when Ari was pulling the list of who's in step 1 for me to put into the raffle, and I was like, why is there not 100% of our roster on this list? We can fit more people in the room. So show up, be here, but register for step 1. Like if you do one thing before leaving today, do that. And I think I was telling Ari this last week. For me, Bold, I knew basically what I was doing, but it was a really big kick in the butt because what I didn't realize, I came from a corporate career, and what I didn't realize moving from a corporate career to being my own boss as an agent is I was not holding myself as accountable as how I held my teammates to their accountability standards when I was their boss. And Ashley actually said something at Business Planning Clinic that year, and she was like, would you fire yourself? And I was like, ooh, ouch, yeah, I would have gone months ago because I wasn't actually doing the activities. I was coming to the classes, I was doing the learning, but I wasn't actually doing the things that get your business. So anyway, that's my 10-second pitch for step one. It's free. You should definitely do it. Okay, now I'm here as escrow partners. Ta-da! Thank you, everybody came to List to Last. That was awesome to hear from Gary and Jason. It's going to be up in KW Connect. I haven't checked to see if they've uploaded it yet. Let me know if you have a problem finding it, but they did say not only will they upload the video, they're also going to upload the slides so you can see their whole presentation straight from Gary and Jason. So awesome time for those of you that were here in the room. I think it was really a good session for me, and I loved hearing your stories about how you would use that in your listing presentation. So thank you to everybody who came. We would like to recognize Kayvon and Wes. They are not related, though they both have the same last name. But Kayvon and Wes work as a team, and they recently wrote us in on the buyer side. So congratulations to the two of them. And what I will share, I won't name names, but I've been talking to some listing agents that are here physically in this room today, and I'm hearing that some listings are staying on the market longer. Some have gone through cancellations and then gotten back into escrow, which we're seeing as well. And so we thought this was timely to bring up the next slide, which is our buyer offer. So this has been out there, but for those of you guys that haven't seen this before, right now as the market is shifting, your buyers may have a little bit more leverage. So I think that's part of why we're seeing escrow partners being written in a little more often on the buy side right now, just given where we are in this market shift, right? Listing agents are a little bit more open right now to taking some of your extra commissions. What this does, this is actually a page, it will be in 10 minutes, it will go up on the Facebook page. It will be there, you can use it. I have now started putting this page in my buyer package. So if I'm writing an offer, I will write in escrow partners. I pick my escrow officer. If you don't know between Nicole and Christine, go down the hall, meet your favorite escrow officer. I will write in my escrow officer and escrow partners into my RPA and include this in my package. And I will say, hey, listing agent, I would love to save your client and my client 15% off their escrow fees each. It's something that if you don't have an escrow company that you work with, or if you want to try my awesome one, I'd be happy to get you that discount. So this is just one more little tool. Sometimes, right now with negotiations, you're getting down to the like nickel and diming, and you're trying to figure out how to save your clients some money and still get them into a property and get that all worked out. So I love that this is available for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Noble's contact info is on this one. I do also have custom ones for Christine and custom ones for Nicole if you're already working with one of our escrow officers. So I can give you the one that has just their name on it if you would prefer that. Which tends to be easier. That way the listing agent knows exactly who to email everything off to. But if you don't have a preferred escrow officer yet, we'll definitely send you the one with Noble's information. Good luck out there. There's stuff happening. Everyone looks so like somber. There's things happening. It's still moving. Taking a little longer, but it's a thing.
Thank you, Jacqueline. We don't have, who's
Will you announce it?
No, can you announce it,
Will you
please?
announce it? I think I'm next. No, go ahead.
No, you do it.
Well, Thomas, if you guys haven't met Thomas, he's a new agent with our office. He's not here today, but he's always here working, which I love. He's just not today, but he's always here. He's funny. So introduce yourself to Thomas. He joined my advanced coaching group. He got a BRBC sign on a buyer. Then the next thing you know, he's an escrow with him.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy too. He's funny. And matter of fact, one day he told me that Nancy came in late, and he schooled Nancy. He's like, "We don't do that around here. We need to show up early." Did he do that?
I'm like, oh, so that's how we get along. Okay.
He's always in the kitchen
Yeah.
working.
So if you see him, just say, we run a tight ship in here, okay? That's our thing. Okay, cool. And next, where'd you go?
There's nothing to see here. So, let's see, what are we gonna talk about today? Oh, economic update. That came out today, and guess what?
Nothing.
Not a thing! No, not really, right? I mean, look, here's the thing, right? They have a mandate of price stability, right? And having full employment. And it's kind of on par for both of them right now, and it's stable, and it's kind of going that way. Like, we're not seeing a lot of people losing their jobs. There's 100,000 jobs that were just created month over month. That's not a lot, right? So it's kind of stable. You're not seeing prices spiking up again, right? At 8% inflation, we're back down to like 3-ish%, approaching that 2% where they want to be, but not quite there yet. So honestly, there's really no reason for them to be pumping the gas on the economy right now when if we're at such a rate and it's floating along and there's so many other global and macroeconomic uncertainties with tariffs, with wars, with all this other stuff, there's really no reason for them to hit the gas on the economy. And you guys understand what I mean by hitting the gas on the economy, right? Lowering rates, look what happened to all the prices, right, of homes when rates were like close to zero, right? They were hitting the gas to get the economy going and getting us through COVID. So there's no reason for them to do that. There's also no reason for them to increase the rates because that's hitting the brakes on the economy. So leaving it alone right now, that's the best thing they can do. So all that political noise that you're hearing, don't, just tune it out. At the end of the day, the economy is pretty stable right now, which is good. Prices do at some point need to come down though, because you guys all see it. Look at the affordability factor out there. I mean, so many people can't afford a home here in San Diego, and it's sad, right? But it's nationwide. It's like that. And yeah, sure, the interest rates are going to make a difference, but the prices make a bigger difference on these homes. So, just wanted to give you an update. Everything is kind of on par. They're hoping that something's going to change in September, hoping they might come down. They said maybe a whole percentage point over the next year, but they also said we were going to see 6 cuts this year. We haven't seen one. We're like more than halfway through the year. So it's a guessing game at this point, but honestly, if the economy keeps going this way, we're probably just going to see things, let it stable out, let it float along until they actually have to do something. And that's my update for today. So keep chugging on, you guys.
Okay, and now?
Yeah, interest rates aren't going to fix our housing issue. What will fix it? A complete bust of
A
everything.
lot of people make a phone call.
Hi, everybody. I really appreciate your time today as broker. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Great. You're like, oh no, Broker Bob's presentation today. All right, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the AVID. What does AVID stand for? What's the most important word in that? Visual. Visual. We're going to talk about why visual is important. And then we're also going to talk about what the TDS, SBQ, NHD, lead-based paint, FHDS, and AVID have in common. And I'm going to see if anybody knows the answer to that. All right, so what is the AVID? So why did I bring this up? Why am I discussing the AVID at today? Does anybody have a clue?
Somebody's not doing it accurately.
Somebody's not filling it out.
Because they're doing them from their bedroom at night.
They're doing it from their bedroom at night. Really? How do you do that?
Just saying, that's what they're doing.
They don't know something.
What are you doing that in the bedroom? The bedroom's for 2 things. Sleep is one of them.
They lay in their bedroom.
Me. Why would I bring a disclosure up as part of the key topic for a team meeting?
Litigation.
Somebody said they were.
Litigation.
Yeah, you guys are.
Judy brings up a good point. You guys want to know, I almost called Ashley on Friday and said, I'm done. No more. I can't do this. Literally. We're in 6 claims. 6. We've never had 6 claims at once. Ever. I don't think we've had 6 in our history. Claims are up 25% in California alone. And we knew this when we went through the COVID years because people were making offers with no contingencies. They weren't doing their inspections. We're like, just wait 2-3 years. It's going to happen. It's going to come back. We're going to start getting some stuff. And so I'm working with our carrier to make sure we keep our rates low. And I said, can you kind of give me an idea where you think we're going to be? And she said, that's a really good question. And we appreciate you asking that, Robert. You should be asking that. We're going to probably be in the range of 50% higher what we had last year.
Oh.
So I prepared Nancy and Ashley for that.
And he's preparing you guys now.
Everything is going up. Every insurance is going up. I was watching something the other day about home insurance. And I asked Ed today, Ed, are you seeing home insurance at the rate of $8,000? It's like, yeah, $8,000 a year. He goes, what's the highest you've seen? He goes, 12. $12,000 a year for home insurance.
Wow.
So the insurers are having a hard time. Bridget, I'm glad Bridget's here because she needs to learn how to do her Avid, except for her bedroom. Matt?
Can you give us a vague idea without too many details of what types of claims
Sure.
we're seeing so we can all make sure we don't.
Most of them are non-disclosure.
Okay.
That's why I talk about the Avid, a disclosure. Buyer closes escrow, comes back, the seller didn't tell me this. The buyer's agent didn't tell me this. Whatever the disclosure is. So we got 4 that are non-disclosures. I'm sorry, 3 that are non-disclosures. We had the fair housing violation. I'm going to review that one, so make sure you guys understand why I don't want you taking lease listings. We have one that is a flip property. So flips are a nightmare for carriers. They hate
That
them.
was non-disclosure too.
Yeah, non-disclosure.
The other one was a lease rental also.
Oh,
Okay, like that? No, okay.
we're in possible litigation for a agent that consummated a lease listing. Our name wasn't even on the contract. But we had an agent that was with us for like 4 months, had our broker's license, and was leasing property we didn't even know about. And because her license was under our brokerage, that attorney that the tenants have hired is going after us just because she was named in our brokerage.
Wow. And they disclaimed it because our policy doesn't cover property management.
So it wasn't a good week last week. And then an agent was informed that they had to write a check for $10,000 and they're not happy because, in their mind, they didn't do anything wrong. I get it.
So everybody knows, the 10 grand is what we have to pay that's the deductible for the insurance policy. That goes in place as soon as the thing is basically filed. So we can't start getting representation until that deductible is paid. So that's actually what the agent asked. This person has the money, so that's cool. Nancy is still chasing down 2 agents that are no longer with us. We have to pay it.
Mhm.
So I would appreciate if you guys don't hose us, but we have to insure ourselves. So if you can't meet your deductible, we'll pay it. We're gonna chase you down.
Because it goes in.
Just so, 10 grand is not a small amount of money for anybody,
No.
including the broker.
Right.
So we will sue them to get it back.
All that lunch you won't get provided.
No more
No more Mexican. So the reason again, lease listings. 2 of those are claims from leases. And this one lease listing that was fair housing, which we've now settled, the prospective tenant, they didn't even, put an application in. They just gave the hint they were going to put an application in. And that prospective tenant got a $125,000 payout, and the attorney fees were $125,000. Because our agent wanted to do a good thing for their prospective property owner and help them get their property rented. So she met a prospective tenant at the property and answered one question wrong.
Can we ask what that question is?
I have 2 pets. Owner and the to which the agent says the owner doesn't want pets. Well, you can't say no to pets because this pet was an emotional support pet. And a law went into place 3 or 4 years ago that a property owner cannot say no to emotional support. And that one little sentence, a question that was answered the wrong way, there are attorneys that have a cottage industry, and this attorney that brought this claim, this is all he does. He goes after property owners. That's all he does. So that's why I don't want you taking lease listings or speaking to tenants. Please don't speak to tenants. Refer them to the property owner.
Unless they want to buy a house.
Unless they want to buy a house.
Then you talk to them.
So, Avid, it's completed by both the listing agent and the buyer agent. And what it does is it documents what you observe physically with the property. And the question I'm always asked, well, I'm Bridget. I don't go see my listings. So I don't even want to do my Avid. Who should do the Avid? To which she says, well, I have an agent that works on my team. My super duper agent. He does all that. It's fine. The way the statute is written is who is has the most intimate knowledge of the property. So if Bridget's never been there at the property and Matt's there probably more, he probably has more knowledge of it. So it's okay in that case. But if it's a solo agent, you can't not have your responsibility for not doing your Avid. So what goes in it? Well, it's a room by room. And if it's a property, it's actually outside of the property as well. It's the visible defects like stains, cracks, odors. They do have odors in there, even though it's not visual, but it's something that is picked up in a sense of your smell. And then it's facts only, not opinions or diagnosis. We'll get into what that looks like. And then notes on limited visibility. Let's say you have a tenant that has junk all over the place. You can't get into a closet. You can't get into even a bedroom. So you would make note on that as well too. What you want to avoid, don't say water damage, because that would interpret that you know things about water damage. What you want to say is ground staining on the ceiling. So you'll see stuff, usually in some places, that will have a brown spot in the ceiling. So just say a brown spot in the ceiling in the corner of the bedroom number 2 or whatever. Don't say mold. Are you guys mold experts?
No.
Testers?
Yeah, or mold testers? Say black discoloration visible on the wall. And then don't say foundation issue. Are you foundation experts? Just say crack noted approximately 18 inches on the southwest corner front of the building or whatever. Okay. Best practices for the listing agent. When should the listing agent complete the Avid?
Before that.
Right before closing. And why would that not be good, Mike? We'll discuss that point because
It's not their investigation.
why would you not want to do it at the end of right before closing? All right. Well, most brokers, and me including, is do it at your first initial walkthrough of the property when you take in listing. That's when you should do it. When do most agents do it?
At the end.
At the end. And I'll show you why that's not a good thing when we get to this, because you'll discover how one agent got caught with their pants down and lost a seller because they screwed up by not doing their Avid. For a buyer's agent, you should complete it at or immediately after the buyer's first visit to the property.
Showings?
No, never do it at.
Knowing that you're going to have the it in escrow, right? Preferably not with when it's having the inspection done. Preferably it's with that the inspector not there, and I'll explain that in a few minutes as well too, why you should not do that. Avoid doing it at avoid doing it at the same time as or after the professional inspection. Even if it's just perception, it could undermine your Avid's credibility. Here's why. You don't want to parrot the inspector's language or refer to their findings. So you get a nice inspection report. Do some of your inspection reports have nice pictures?
Yeah.
Have some of you ever looked at those nice pictures and put that on your Avid?
No.
Of course not.
No? You guys are lying. So what could happen is a case could be made if you're ever in a claim where the attorneys will make every claim possible that you didn't do your duty. And they're going to say, well, that agent really didn't do their visual inspection. They just looked at the inspector's report and wrote down the pictures from what they saw the inspector put together. That's not your due diligence. You just copied what the inspector put. And that's the claim that an attorney would make. Never leave a section blank on the Avid. And I want to appreciate an agent yesterday who called me and says, I'm doing my Avid, but I don't see anything. What do I put? So here's some example. Why you don't want to leave it blank. It could be considered an incomplete form. It could be a missed area, or worse, an agent who didn't do their job. Best practice, if you observe nothing noteworthy in each room, then say, no visible issues noted, no observable defects at time of inspection. Yes?
What if a room doesn't exist, like the third bathroom, you put like NA or just like?
Well, you wouldn't put anything in that because there is no third bathroom.
So you
Can't leave that one.
Yeah, you can leave that one blank.
There's just
It's
a spot for it.
It's only, yeah, there's only spot for it. It's only for the rooms that are there. You could put a cross through it, but you don't need to put anything in that spot, okay? These phrases show you actually looked at the area, you made an observation, and you did your duty even if there was nothing wrong. So never leave a space blank. Yes?
So I know that when we're doing a visual inspection, we're not supposed to move anything.
It's visual.
That's
Visual. So if there are curtains along the wall and you can't see the whole wall or the window and it's blocking it, do you just say unable to, or do you move the curtains?
Yeah, you can put that in your Avid. Remember back here, I
I
said,
just wanted to make sure.
yeah. Notes on limited visibility, clutter, tenant possessions. You can notate that.
Okay.
Curtains on the wall could not know what's in the back of the wall. If you think there's something back there that you need to look at.
Okay.
Okay, good question, thanks. Yes.
Where do you draw the line to like, window coverings are part of like the transferable elements of the property that are not their property. In theory, what's wrong with moving in the look to see if there's a big old crack on the window?
Well, I think moving curtains would be okay. What we're talking about visual, because you might be moving the curtain to look at the wall, but when we're talking about things you don't do is like you don't turn on the dishwasher.
Sure.
You don't turn off on lights. Yeah, but you can move the curtain if you want to inspect behind the curtain. That's okay.
But you don't open cabinets and look under the sink.
Right. But if there's a bunch of junk in front of the window and the curtain, you're not going to move all that junk.
Sure.
Right.
That's like
It's okay to.
Not line yet, it's about what I can and can't.
This is why I was.
So if the lights are on and you say one bulb isn't working, you saw that it wasn't working. But if the light is not on, you're not supposed to turn it on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think the clearest way, and it's a great question, but if you just have a kind of rule for yourself, no touchy. No touchy. So if you can see it, because it's a visual inspection, it's great. If you can't, then just note that it's not visible. Yeah, no touchy.
I've never been told that in my life.
We're recording this.
So here's some more examples. Kitchen. No visible concerns noted at time of inspection. Living room. Room appears clean and in typical condition for age. Now, I'm not so sure that you should say for condition of age after I look through this. Just cut that part off and just say room appears clean and in typical condition. Exterior. Walk perimeters, no defects observed. That one is probably one of the better things to do with an exterior part. Walk perimeter, no defects observed. This is hard when you have a big house, right? Got a patio. Risk management tip. Adding something, even when you see nothing, shows diligence. A blank space leaves you open to allegations like, well, the agent clearly didn't check the garage because they left it blank. Okay? Here's some more examples. In the kitchen, cracked tile in front of stove. Baseboard missing behind toilet. Living room pet owner noted. And then backyard, loose brick in patio corner. Actually, no. You can't touch that. Take that off.
What if you
Check that
stepped on
If you
it?
stepped on it.
If you stepped on it, yes. Yes, if you stepped on it. But notate you stepped on it. But you're not going to the wall looking for all the loose bricks.
So you could say uneven brick.
Uneven brick. Yeah, that's good. Here's your training checklist, your agent takeaway. And guess what? I actually have a handout that you can take with you so you can all study and keep up when you're doing your habits. You should be walking through every accessible room and exterior area. You should write what you saw, not what you guessed you saw. You should avoid using technical terms such as mold, asbestos, foundation. You should complete it promptly, ideally after a listing appointment or first showing. You keep a copy for your records. If there's a tenant in the property, you disclose the tenant limitations like clutter or lack of access where it's applicable. You sign and submit the avid with the TDS or the RPA. Wow. I didn't realize I put that in there, but yeah. You could put the avid on your RPA when you submit the offer. Okay? And you do your avid as a listing agent prior to putting it in the MLS. And as a buyer's agent when you attended the inspection or before, not just prior to close of escrow, Mike. Okay? And you use the avid to protect yourself and the client. So tip for the class. If you hand in an avid 2 days after the home inspection and it reads like a summary of the inspection report, well, you just bought yourself a credibility problem. And the whole point is that you saw it, you wrote it down, and you did your job when the buyer relied on you the most. Matt?
Is the goal to minimize how much you write while still covering the important, like, I'm asking this because I like to be excessively detailed, like, this room is carpeted. What if I use the wrong word? Like, it's not actually carpet, it's sheep shag or something strange. Do I minimize what I indicate to just observations of potential negative conditions and just put no observations if there's none? Or where do you
Well, I always go from the adage that when in doubt, disclose, disclose, disclose. So if you want to be really detailed, that would be great. It would really have that plaintiff's attorney say, shoot, these people are really detailed. And it's going to be hard to prove that they didn't do their avid.
I would agree with that, and I'm not a broker, Robert is, so he can defer to this, but I would add, be careful on your adjectives.
Yes, your descriptors.
Don't say big, because big is subjective. Say small, because.
Yes. Yes.
So, one thing that I think is kind of confusing with the avid is, say you take a listing today, and you're not gonna list it for a couple months because you're doing carpet and paint, and there was a smelly pet there, and it's all gonna be gone. Obviously, the seller has to put the disclosures of what they've done prior to sale, but would you just wait to do your avid until like,
Yes.
whatever?
Yes, because at that point, if you've got people coming in and doing stuff,
You're repairing the issues anyway.
yeah. If you feel you want to do the avid and then maybe do an update to it, because let's say there's something that you noted, like the brown stain on the ceiling, and all of a sudden the brown stain's gone when you take it to market, you might want to question the seller at that point. Were there some repairs that you made that you didn't put in your disclosures? So you might want to do it
together. That's okay, right? For early avid and a disclosure of repair.
Yeah. So you could.
It seemed like that would have opened up more of a can of worms. I don't know.
Well, anything's going to open up a can of worms. An attorney's going to open up anything.
Yeah.
But I would think, from my perspective, if I know that the seller's going to make a lot of repairs, I might want to make a mental note about what it looks like prior to the repairs, and then make sure that on their disclosures that they update the repairs, especially if it's like a flip or something.
Yeah.
Flip properties are the worst nightmare for brokers and insurance companies right now in California. As the market has shifted even more, as flippers their margins are really tight, they're cutting a lot of corners, and they're basically bringing a substandard product in some cases to the market. So you got to really make sure that if you're representing a buyer that's looking at a flip that looks pretty, like we call lipstick on a pig, you got to make sure that they really do their inspections on that flip.
Well, and if you're listing it, same thing.
Yeah, and if you're listing it too. The flip claim that we have is we represented the seller. Now the buyer is coming back to everybody, including the flipper. And they haven't named the buyer's agent yet. There have been settlement demands and mediation disputes in California where timing and content of the avid were called into question. So we haven't had any claims in our office with the avid, but let me give you where we did have an issue where there was no avid. We'll get to that part though, but let's talk about photos. Can you do photos?
Yes.
Yes, but don't make it in replace of your visual interpretation of stuff, your visual. account of on the Avid. You do it as a bonus to, in addition to.
So it's not a picture, it's 1,000 words on the record.
It's not a picture, it's 1,000 words. It gives the agent an option, including the photographs. It's not required, you don't have to do it. But if you think you want to, go ahead and do it. You add it as a separate document to an addendum to the PDF. You want to blur personal photos or medicine bottles. Okay? By the way, as a listing agent, you should advise the sellers to remove their medicine prior to the listing going to the market and take their personal photos down. Best practice for using photos, only photograph what you're using and writing about in the Avid. We just discussed that. Keep images labeled and organized by room area. Attached to the Avid as a separate PDF or clearly marked printouts. And use neutral file names or labels, i.e. living room crack1.jpg. Photos are helpful, but don't get lazy. Your words on the Avid matter more than your camera phone. Use photos to support, not replace your legal duty. And final pro tip for agents and sellers. When in doubt, disclose, 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 and then when you're done with that, disclose some more. We're always asked that question, well, do I need to disclose this? And my answer is yes. Yes. When in doubt, and if someone says, do I really need to disclose that? Yes.
If the question crosses your mind, it's an automatic yes.
So that is the link for the people who aren't here today. So if you're watching this on YouTube, that's the link to click on for the handout I gave. So you can have your little handy handout. So here's the question of the day. What do all the following disclosures have in common? The TDS, SPQ, NHD, lead-based paint, FHDS, and your Avid.
They're statutory.
3 days.
They're disclosures.
They're all disclosures.
They are. They're all disclosures.
Five
They're all
days,
statutory.
3 days to cancel.
They have 3 days to review, 5 days if it's delivered by email or in person. So these are all.
Sue for each of these.
You can.
You can't leave any of us like this.
Yeah.
I know this is. I'm pulling this one out from when I presented it years ago.
I think I'm right, but let's say you deliver it. Let's say, for example, a buyer releases their contingencies, right? And then all of a sudden, Mike Law sends in Airbnb rates the part, let's say the buyer or seller, well, I would say in this case the buyer, for the buyer's agent, they could back out and get their deposit back because it was not delivered prior to them releasing their contingencies. All right?
Ding, 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 ding. The correct answer is.
No,
There is no correct answer.
Oh, I tried to be fancy. Right of rescission. What does that mean? So Chris said it right.
Can you take back seats?
Those 6 disclosures, I call them the dirty 6, are statutory. They're required in a transaction, unless they're unless the seller's exempt from a few of them. They're required. And let's say Mike, because he's the one that said this first, he said, well, I do mine prior to close of escrow. So I didn't submit it until 2 days prior to close of escrow, but the buyer had already removed all their contingencies, so we're ready to close. Guess what? Because Mike did not attach his Avid to the TDS, now that buyer has the right of rescission on that contract because now it's a new disclosure that's statutory and he was never told about it. And because of that, now that buyer decided they want to cancel. And they can get their earnest money deposit back. Imagine being the listing agent that didn't submit your Avid and that buyer decided they want to cancel after you've sent the Avid over and getting the deposit back. What would you do as a listing agent to explain that to your seller? How would you explain that?
On my knees.
In Belize, because that's where you're taking them.
It was his fault.
Right. We've actually been the prevailing party on that case because we were on the buy side that the buyer decided when to cancel 2 days prior to close of escrow. And that listing agent on the sell side, which was not our listing agent, didn't send in the avid. So after reviewing the file, guess what? Because broker Bob knows his shit, told that buyer's agent, it's fine, just tell the listing agent this. You have the right to cancel. And I think that listing did not eventually close with that agent. I think that agent was fired from that seller and they hired another agent. Knowledge is power. So when you know and understand the contracts and the laws, it helps you look better in the eyes of your client, which is why we try and train you and educate you about the contract, and why Mark does his review message to train you and educate you about the contract and the terms and how to make things perfect. Done.
So in that same instance, let's say best case scenario, they don't want to, they've read the admin that came in 2 days before close, but now they have 5 days to close. Like they have that 5 days to look over the
Yes,
admin.
up to 5 days.
So now they don't have to close on 2 days later if they just receive that.
They have
can
5
turn
days to
around and
review.
say, no, I want my full 5 days to
Yep.
review.
Because they have 5 days to
So
review.
that's the best case scenario. It still closes, but now you've pushed out.
Yes, you can.
What about the CR then? Do they need to submit a new CR? That's a new piece of information.
The CR,
Buyer CR.
remind me, my brain's not working.
So yeah, contingency.
Oh, the CR.
Yeah.
Well, the CR is not valid.
Right.
Even though they've removed everything and they've signed the CR. Sorry, my brain is really tired today. Last week was really CR, continuing resolution. Involved in the government too much. What are we doing a continuing resolution on? No, the CR is invalid at that point. It allows this buyer to still cancel. Because the listing agent did not. Now, that's only on the listing agent side, not on the buyer's agent side of listing. That's why when the TDS gets sent, this box gets checked, city attached agent visual inspection disclosure on the TDS, and then the listing agent signs that part and sends it over with the disclosure packet. So get in the habit of doing your avids up front when the seller's doing their disclosures to go out in the entire disclosure packets. Mark sees this nonstop ad nauseum where agents on the outside are delivering their avids late in the transaction. Because, I know, it's just kind of the industry norm.
Well, everything was moving so fast for a while there, you couldn't get it all done in time.
That's why broker Bob hates 2-week or 10-day escrows, because it doesn't allow the buyer to do their diligent inspection, and then the agents have to really get all their stuff done up front too. And then Mark has to do all his stuff, because then you want a 10-day close. He's got to make sure you do the review, the initial review, and then the final review if you need to get things fixed. Yes.
So then, okay, I know on the Avid it's visual, but the last section that says other known material facts, wherever that last portion of the Avid is.
On section 1.
Should I, as a listing agent, be disclosing the material facts that I know are going to be in the TDS, but if my seller hasn't filled everything out, should I be disclosing those other facts that aren't visual things? Like if I know there's a previous fix to something or was just newly painted, should that be on my end of my Avid?
I think this needs your batteries. When in doubt,
Disclose.
Disclose.
Okay.
And then disclose.
Okay.
So, good question. But if you have something you want to make sure you disclose,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Okay.
I can't give you the merits of the case that we got delivered last week, but I can say it was an attempt for, you're always going to have some sellers that say, I don't want to disclose that.
Right.
Right? So what do you do in that case?
Too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You disclose
disclose
it.
That's what, yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't do that.
I'd rather disclose it than.
How?
There's an other section, and I disclose it in other, whatever. I put
Other where though?
on the ADA,
Yeah.
like on the third page, there's a section that says other.
Yeah.
And
So
I forget what I disclosed.
on the Avid, if you know of something that's a material fact, and what's a material fact? What's the definition?
anything new.
I
that's
agree,
really
that could, affect the desirability of the property.
Exactly right. Affects the desirability of the property in a sale. So it could determine whether or not a buyer wants to get it because it's a material fact. It's a material fact. You come across that knowledge during escrow and you find out that seller does not want to disclose it, you have a duty to disclose it. To which this new attorney on Friday told me, I go, I know, bitch. You don't need to tell me that. I know that.
He didn't actually say that. It was a conference call.
I literally wanted to put that in my email back to her.
You're
I know,
thinking it.
Susan. You don't need to remind me. You needed to tell the agent that they needed to get rid of the listing. Sure.
Well, when your clients have signed it though, because they ultimately sign it, have they said anything to you, like, we didn't want to disclose this? How did you handle that?
Well, his duty is to let them know, because I know this, I'm required by law to
Okay,
disclose this, so I have to put this as a part of my Avid.
Right.
Yeah, he has to.
Tough shit.
Tough shit. Exactly, tough stuff.
Listen, I always tell them, do you want to go to court? Do you not want to go to court? It's up to you. You're gonna end up in court. And then I'm gonna tell the truth, because I'm not gonna get my ass.
So, Chris, do the point where you actually you told me this last week, you protected yourself from being sued from a client because you put something in writing to them.
Yeah.
Remember? And then the attorney says, oh, I guess you're not going to be able to sue him.
Oh, yeah, it was, I was selling a house and the square footage was off. And the agent said they weren't going to do any inspections. We were buying it as it is, no termite, no nothing, blah, 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 blah. And then they came back and wanted $150,000. And then the attorney was like, well, do you have an email? And I go, well, yeah, I do. And yeah, I mean.
He had the email that showed him he advised his client. What was the advice? Not to?
I forget what it was. I sort of brain dead right now, but yeah.
Okay. But he documented an email which saved his butt from a probably $10,000 E&O deductible.
Yeah, well, I'm so freaking paranoid these days. It's not even funny.
You?
No, seriously, I was telling Robert, and like, I check my contracts like 4 times before I send them over and whatever, and, you know, make sure I'm getting paid, all this shit, you know, like paranoid.
Robert, let me.
Yes.
How should sheds appear on the?
How should sheds appear? Say that 12 times fast.
How should it be written in about a shed?
Well, like additional room?
Well, it's not a room, it's a shed.
Yeah, outdoor shed.
Okay, so
And just a visual inspection of
you
that.
just put, but you're gonna do an inspection of that, just as though it was a room.
Yeah. Yes.
How would you phrase, I unlocked the door for the contractor. I showed up in the middle of them painting and or putting in a new appliance. When I fill out my Avid on Glide and I say new stove, it always highlights new and says you can't use that phrase, pick
Right.
something else.
Okay.
How do we want to vocalize that?
Newer.
It still applies to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
On Glide?
New, recently painted.
Recently installed.
They don't let us do recently. I mean, I do it anyways because I physically saw them painting, so I know it was recently painted.
2025 install.
Okay. Painted in 2020, painted in May 2025.
Might have to be a Mark question or maybe a
Okay.
question to Carl Legal to see what to put in there. Glide's not allowing you. Glide's got some rule
Yeah.
set in place that's not allowing you to do it.
Don't do it in blind.
Yeah, for sure.
Glide makes it so easy.
Mine is installation during Avid.
All right, so I have a favor to ask. In case you guys haven't noticed, we're really trying to get our social media out there and our digital platform and footprint out there for the office. So in part of our recruiting efforts, your broker, is trying to get my digital footprint out there. And what would really help is if I can get reviews from you on what a nasty broker I am. Don't go there. No, but it does help with our recruiting because Sarah uses it for the recruiting to talk about what a great on-site broker is. So if you could please review me, I will gladly review you back too. As one of my top agents in our office, nothing speaks louder than a broker saying this is one of the best agents. And I will give you all a glowing review, by the way. So if you don't want to do it today, you can just get the link and save it for later. Or go to my Google business page and do it there. I would appreciate it because that helps on the digital platform. Sarah actually said last week that we have a recruit, and she asked the recruit, well, how did you hear about us? She goes, I just Googled it, and it said that this is the best office to work in San Diego. It's because the last 4 months you have not seen, I've been working behind the scenes, increasing our digital footprint. If you don't like me, go ahead and put it anyway. I just want to give you a review.
Sometimes we don't even know how much we like you. I've been working on my listing with an agent from my last brokerage, and he was like, "You have to come back. You're family. You know that. You promise you're going to come back." I was like, "No, I can't. I really like my brokerage. I love my broker." And I'm like saying it. I'm like, "Can I really say this?"
Would we get
And if you could click on the follow me on LinkedIn.
That's too much.
I can't. We also had a recruit last week, the week before, who asked ChatGPT which brokerage she should join, and our brokerage came up. So that's pretty cool.
So go follow me on LinkedIn. I actually have been writing a lot of articles on real life stuff. Matter of fact, it helped with Jen Dolan last week. She's one of our top agents. She had an issue from a former closing with an accessory dwelling unit. And I said, I just wrote an article on that. You should go to LinkedIn and share that. Well, I couldn't help her on it because it was a former broker. But she's like, wow, I've never been with a brokerage where I have so much information and knowledge from. Okay? But I would appreciate it. And of course, I'll review back. And then I want to end it with a story. Michelle, you want to share your story this week? So I coached Michelle, and this week she was all nervous because she had her son do some work for her to help her out. So, and it's an educational moment as well too.
Yeah. So
this is Michelle Rios.
Yeah. Hi. So I don't know how many of you have the Ring camera on your home, but when you sign up for Ring, it automatically puts you in like a neighborhood group, kind of like, what's the other one? Neighborhood. We're talking about it. Yeah. And so, my son's looking to make extra money, so my husband and I have been giving him chores to do, and I had bought some door hangers, and I said, hey, if you go, pass out 100 of these, I'll pay you $100. So yesterday I'm away from my house, and I got a Ring notification, and it was somebody sharing a video that was from their camera, and it's like, hey, this guy is walking around our neighborhood stealing mail. And I look and I'm like, that's my son. So I was a few minutes late to getting it, and I see all these chats like, hey, somebody call the police, like he's a thief, all this stuff. So I called my son and I'm like, stop doing that. I didn't know you were going today. And he said, I just, dropped off my last one. So there was probably about 40 comments of people, like 50%, like I went on there and said my whole story, like my son's been out of work for the last couple weeks and I'm trying to give him extra money, like he's a good kid, he's a student, he works as a CNA, like giving my whole story about him. And so finally the owner actually took it off the post. But I didn't give him an explanation, like don't put it on anybody's mailbox, like if you can't leave it on the door, just don't leave it at all. And he was trying to be helpful, and just this door he couldn't put it on, so he put it in the mailbox. And so he didn't know, and it was my fault because I should have explained that to him, which I didn't even think about telling him that.
So it's a federal offense to tamper with a mailbox.
Yeah.
So if you see a mailbox or even the slot in the door, you can't put anything through the door.
No.
So that's the educational moment.
Yeah.
You just leave it on the doorstep if there's no place to put it on a door handle.
You get any leads from the comments on the?
I know, I was telling him, I said, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So.
I told her to go back to that group chat. By the way, is anybody looking to buy or sell?
It was super cool. So after our call this morning, the owner actually called me because I left my contact information if anybody had concerns. And so he called me this morning and said, hey, I just wanted to reach out and apologize for the post. Like, he's he can't get out of bed. And so he said, I watched that Ring camera and I just wanted people to know. And I said, no, you don't have to apologize. I'm sorry. And so it was like, I'm your neighbor. If you need anything, because you're in bed, let me know. If you need something from the grocery store or if you need help moving something, I'm here for you.
So when you go around and promote it, she's doing a community yard sale.
Yeah.
When you promote it, say, I'm the Ring camera lady. I didn't know that once you get a Ring camera, you're connected with all the neighbors.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting one.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your time. What did you guys learn today?